Hello, hello. My name is NicholassRivas. I talk about politics and stuff. And today we're going to be talking about the ban on public drag shows in Tennessee. A recent legislation done by the governor was signed in to basically ban all drag shows in public spaces. It seems that the idea is that they want to put drag shows like kind of hidden from people, which I think they already are, and we'll dive into it. But this is all just a show of like we don't like trans people. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Like, drag show, trans people, gay people, people on the spectrum of gender fluidity. They think they're weird. They don't like them. You can try to argue that it's like sexualization of children, but there's no indications of that or proof. I know they're trying to stop these drag shows for kids readings and drag shows for these like brunches or like those drag shows that people have been hollering hollering about was uh you know with kids showing up to like a drag book reading. Obviously no sexual indication there, but people like to assume the minute they think of like someone gay, bi, whatever, any sort of sexuality that isn't straight, they assume there's sexuality intended with it. Like, there'll be a scene of two adults kissing in a movie and that's not weird, but then you see a two gay couple and they're like, hey, they don't have to make it sexual, and it's like you went there, your mind went there. With drag people, they think of it as sexual. A man in a dress, is no more different than a costume into my eyes, but to them it's disgusting. It's pushing the limit. And so when you look at this legislation, it's really vague and broad. So it's obviously just kind of swinging for everybody, and it's not going to change much. Unfortunately, it's not real. It's a show of force that the Republican governor, who recently came out with a drag photo surfacing from I think their days in college, which is ironic. I know, right? Um, Basically he said like wearing a dress at a high school game is different than drag queens wearing one on stage. That no, it's not. You're just a piece of shit hypocrite. So it basically bans like go-go dancers. It will punish you with a $2,000 fine. It just basically bans it from public spaces. So I'm just confused on how this works. Of like, if you have a club, that's where I've seen most, if not all, my drag shows, like a club or a bar where kids are not intended at all. Why are you hinging this weird kid sexuality thing with places where kids don't even frequent? Um, it just doesn't seem like it's really making much sense. It's obviously going to be challenged by the ACLA, or ACLU. But it's just weird. Like, it seems like, okay, drag shows that typically are maybe at a park, maybe if that's even like a thing, that's going to be affected, obviously. But I don't think these places even exist. Like, I don't think people are doing drag shows at a library as much as people think. Like, there's that drag reading I've heard of. Like, people will go and do drag and read to a bunch of kids. That's probably banned, but that's one out of like how many drag shows are at clubs and bars and shit. And this is just the beginning. They're gonna see a drag attack of sorts to every state. Everyone's trying, and everyone has their own bill. I know in Arizona alone, there's two senators who proposed three bills pertaining to drag shows, all of which will do nothing. There's like one bill that I saw that's you're gonna get public funding. There's like bills that try to cut off funding for drag shows from like the government, but it's like rare, and it's very like far and few between. Like, where are they even thinking that drag shows are getting like publicly funded? So these bills are just very fluff. They're not really doing anything. If they change anything, it's going to be like one or two people, on top of how small and minority the drag shows are. It's not like they're drag shows at every Fry's and every corner store you go to. Like, every place that has a drag show is probably even lesser than what you already believe in. So it's obviously it's just a way to shit on trans people. Like, that's all it is, dragging trans people. But the language is so broad and so odd. Like, okay, public spaces, I guess we can try to find some middle road there about like drag shows, maybe sexually explicit drag shows. But like, if I'm wearing just a dress, I'm just a dude, right? I'm obviously a dude with my beard. I'm trying to come off as masculine in some capacity, and I just wear a dress. Am I then gonna get a $2,000 fine? Like, that's where it just becomes like, why are we even swinging at these people? Like, they're not harming anybody, and you're really just gonna harm and shoot yourself with expression and clothing and ideas and sexuality. Like, that's a weird hill to die on for these Republicans. And it's also like a bill where it's like, who gives a shit? Like, I know the same governor was trying to ban gender affirming care, which I disagree with. I think whatever you have with your doctor should be with your doctor. But a lot of parents see that as go, hey, if you're under 18, you shouldn't change your body. Fair. That's again, it's a hot button topic. I'm not going to sit here and tell parents how to parent their kid. But it seems like we are overreaching with these policies trying to affect adults. Like if you're 18 and you want to go to a bar and or 21 and you want to go to an adult cabaret and someone wants to do go-go dancing or be in drag, or if you just want to express your identity and be trans, maybe you're a male born with male genitalia but then you want to wear a dress, like where does the line get drawn? Because we're trying to protect these quote-unquote children that, for one, I don't believe it exists. I don't think there's kids being indoctrinated by trans ideology. You know, like it's all bullshit. There's no other way to put it. It's bullshit.